I'm glad he added that last part, right? Because players are more athletic now. Players are, it's different now, right?
Always fun to see.
And I get it. They're going to always have these debates, right? And understandably, you go like, that's basically his home team. His era is his home team, right? I'm just trying to find some here. Because they always talk about, like, physicality. Let me see this. They always talk about physicality, right? And being in the paint. And, oh, we'd be more physical with them. He literally said, oh, we gonna hit them when they come into the paint, right? Where's the paint? There is not one motherfucker out there on the Boston Celtics that is below the 3-point line currently. So this is the thing that pissed me off about the 80s sometimes, man. Y'all don't even argue for yourselves properly. You guys don't even argue for yourselves properly. You guys keep talking about physicality. When what you should be arguing is the fact that in the 80s and in the 90s, everyone can shoot the mid-range game really well. And if you played a modern team now that plays drop coverage, I don't know if you know, what's his name? The Microwave from back in the day. He used to play on the, what's his name? Vinnie Johnson, bucket. Like, these, outside of Michael Jordan, there were other players. That's all they were good at shooting. They weren't shooting 3-point shots. So they're going to kill you in the mid-range. And now we're pretending like everyone in the NBA shoots threes at a really, really high level, at a really high clip. When the reality is not every team does that. A bunch of the good teams do that, but not every team shoots the 3-point shots well. They just shoot a lot of it. Physicality and adjusting to the rules is a lot easier than gaining skills. So, no, putting a team from the 80s into the NBA now has nothing to do with skill. It has nothing to do with physicality, because I think people can adjust to that. Oh shit, they're not calling this. Gotta stop doing it. Oh shit, they're not gonna let me do this. Especially if y'all pride on being intelligent back in the day. I think y'all would figure that part out. What you wouldn't be able to figure out, because we can't all of a sudden transform you guys, right? We're just taking you as you are back then into now. And the reality is, you guys don't have the ball handling or the 3-point shooting to be able to really stick with these guys. To make a roster. Now they require you to be a 3-point shooter. But yes, y'all advantage is the mid-range. And what you should say is, the best players in the world, all the top players, are still mid-range demons. They're still mid-range assassins. So yes, of course, our guys can go, if we matched up, we could dominate, or we could do well. Stop talking about physicality. Talk about strategy. What the fuck what are you guys going to do when your 4-man, who's never guarded beyond the free throw line, now has to stand at the 3-point line and guard against someone that's 6'9" and can dribble the fucking basketball? I don't know if it's anyone. The best players, I think, can. I think the best players you can translate, because I think greatness goes beyond just ability. That's, your mentality, how you're able to go through hardships, how you're able to respond to adversity. It goes, being a great player goes beyond just the game. So I personally think that great players can, the majority of the league. Yeah. Yeah, but I think, like, he was saying, oh, like, it would just be the rules that would make it. No, you guys can't develop the skills that the players now have. You would have to come in with the skills that you guys have, and you guys would not be skilled enough in the 80s and in the 90s. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. And now in modern basketball, they wouldn't reward you guys for grabbing and holding and hitting people like you are rewarded in the 80s and 90s. So you would have to adjust. And now if we want to play the what if game, because you guys want to play what if, right? Now imagine Jason Tatum gets to be physical and throw his fucking body and his weight around at 6'10". Oh, and by the way, he can also shoot the ball. What if we take Zion Williamson to go and be fucking physical? What if we take a Russell Westbrook, who I feel like to an extent his game got minimized. Yeah, even Josh Hart can translate into any era. He might even play better back then. like that. I think there are less players back then that you could translate into now. The best players, I think, can translate for the most part, but everyone else, you got to start picking and choosing. And that's what they're not understanding. It's easy to teach physicality. Okay, you grab somebody here when they're not looking, da-da-da-da-da. I can't teach you how to shoot a bunch of jump shots and take step backs and to get it into your mentality to shoot a certain way. It just don't work like that. It's a lot more difficult to acquire that skill as opposed to, let's go knock somebody on their ass. We're talking about two totally different things. Totally different things. So, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with Byron Scott, because just leave it as I also think this. You just leave things as they are. Those guys were great in their time. Shit moves on. Things get better, unfortunately. Right? Does it apply to everything? Obviously not. Like, defense, maybe it could be considered worse, but also look at the offense that they got to play against, right? Physicality, you could say basketball IQ to an extent has gotten worse. But it's a different style of basketball, and what we've seen is the best teams still have a high IQ, right? The best teams still have elements from old school. That's also what these old school guys are forgetting. If we take the best teams from this era, y'all would have a real long day. Y'all would have a long day, because the best teams of this era, they incorporate some elements from back then too, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be a forever debate. Everyone's always just gonna have their era. Nothing's gonna hit like your first love. And for them, it was like their 80s. That was their first love. That was when they fell in love with basketball, right? You got guys now that fell in love with basketball with Kobe, LeBron, and Steph. Just a totally different thing.